Hello and welcome to another one-on-one interview with the Atlantic Council of Canada. My guest today is the Deputy Foreign Minister of Bosnia Herzegovina, Ms. Ana Trišić-Babić. Ms. Trišić-Babić received a law degree from Schiller International University. She was previously head of project for media and NGO development in Bosnia and Herzegovina for USAID. Her most recent post before becoming Deputy Foreign Minister was the Assistant Minister for Bilateral Relations at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you for being my guest today.
No, thank you very much for being my host. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Bosnia-Herzegovina was given its Membership Action Plan, MAP, in 2010 as a step towards NATO accession. Can you comment on the issues which your country must first deal with before its MAP can be initiated?
Well, that was a very important decision for Bosnia and Herzegovina, that North Atlantic Council meeting at Tallinn. So yes, it is true. We've got MAP, but legally we are in the MAP, but still MAP is not activated for us.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why MAP is not activated for us is that there is a condition from that Tallinn, let's say, statement, that in order to activate the Membership Action Plan for Bosnia and Herzegovina need to fulfill one condition. That condition is to register 69 locations. So that sounds 69 locations very trivial. But the point is, so there is a military property in Bosnia and Herzegovina, immovable military property in Bosnia and Herzegovina. They are mainly barracks, and we need to find a way to register it. This is not an issue that is going to depend everything, but I think, and we think in Bosnia and Herzegovina, that the North Atlantic Council put this condition to us to check how we are prepared internally inside of the country to find a compromise and to deal with issues like this before we will be in some situation where it's going to be quite serious situation. So actually this was our obstacle at the moment. But in the meantime, the politicians from Bosnia and Herzegovina, just months ago, they made agreement how to deal with this issue. So this is a good message for us inside of Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also for all our friends among the NATO countries. And I think that all NATO countries are the friends of Bosnia and Herzegovina, that we will finally be able to show to them that we can deal with our internal issues inside of the country.
Do you believe that Bosnia-Herzegovina has achieved the internal stability required for NATO membership?
Well, in the last 20 years, Bosnia and Herzegovina has come a long way from the country that were the source of instability in the region to the country which is making significant efforts to become an active partner in building security in the region and in the world. Today, there are a lot of signs that confirm that Bosnia and Herzegovina is a stable, functional, democratic state. We had free democratic elections organized by the institution of Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have functional democratic governments, because we have several governments in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and all other democratic processes. Political decisions in Bosnia and Herzegovina adopted through the process of compromises, seeking between three nations. For example, this is the last decision when I was trying to explain this decision about 69 immovable property in Bosnia and Herzegovina. After a long time in Bosnia and Herzegovina, our own decision among the three constitutive nations in Bosnia and Herzegovina were formation of our Council of Ministers and other necessary bodies in Bosnia and Herzegovina. But we are really very proud. I know for some other country this is nothing, but having in mind what happened in Bosnia and Herzegovina and how in quite short, historically short time we are achieving, and we achieved a significant progress. So Bosnia and Herzegovina defines the foreign policy goal completely independently. All our reforms towards the European Union and the NATO are going on our own. The closing of the office of the High Representative in Bosnia and Herzegovina is increasingly actual, and that is going to be the final sign and signal that Bosnia and Herzegovina is ready to apply for the candidate status to the European Union. So this is at the moment our obstacle, what is normal. Our budget is functioning, stable security situation is in the country, in the region. We have functional security forces inside of the country. There are so many things that we established inside of the Bosnia and Herzegovina that were unimaginable, let's say 15 years ago, 16 years ago, and this is all behind us. And now saying 15 years ago, for us who are living down there, it's a lot. But just saying 15 years is not a lot in some historical processes. So, as I said at the beginning, 15, 16, 17 years ago, Bosnia and Herzegovina was the subject of the Security Council. As today, for example, is Syria. Bosnia and Herzegovina was the subject of the NATO forces, what to do, how to stop the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina, was the subject of all the news from the CNN and other local news. But Bosnia and Herzegovina just finished their role. We were a non-permanent member of the Security Council for 2 years, and we've been really judged very highly for our role being a non-permanent member of the Security Council. So there are so many signs and signals that Bosnia and Herzegovina is 20 years or 17 years after the signing of the Dayton Agreement is really sovereign country being able to bring a decision on our own.
Bosnia has yet to be involved in a Partnership for Peace program, traditionally seen as a step towards NATO membership. How has your government made advancements toward involving Bosnia in a Partnership for Peace program?
So, in the process of securing our democratic development, Bosnia and Herzegovina has early recognized that full development, progress and stability of Bosnia and Herzegovina can only be achieved by joining Euro and Euro-Atlantic community. Bosnia and Herzegovina had reaffirmed its commitment to the NATO integration process as one of the two main foreign policy priorities of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The political will for the Euro-Atlantic integration of Bosnia and Herzegovina was expressed on the presidential statement 2001, so that was time ago, that not was for tomorrow, in which Bosnia and Herzegovina has emphasized the readiness to accept its rights and obligations and actively contribute to collective security in Europe and worldwide. Bosnia and Herzegovina plus NATO framework agreement was signed on the 14th December 2006, when Bosnia officially became a member of Partnership for Peace. In January 2007, Bosnia and Herzegovina submitted Partnership for Peace presentation document to the NATO, where we defined our main objects, what we saw. From that time till now, Bosnia and Herzegovina being the part of the Partnership for Peace program, we are using all necessary tools that we have from the NATO in order to do the reforms in the country. Something what is very interesting for Bosnia and Herzegovina after joining Partnership for Peace program. So after that, that was for the first time even in the NATO history that one exercise, the NATO exercise, happened in the country that is not the country that is not NATO country. So that was the exercise with the name Common Endeavor, happened in Banja Luka, and we got all these applause for first hosting this in Bosnia and Herzegovina, how we prepared this, and all NATO members, countries and parts, actually in Partnership Peace program, including in Serbia and Austria, they came to Bosnia and Herzegovina, to Banja Luka and that region for very successful exercise.
NATO has also encouraged aspiring members to first work with the European Union to develop the bureaucratic capacity required for membership. In light of this process, do you see the Bosnian constitution as an impediment to NATO membership?
For now, no. The only not a condition going towards the European Union, there is the verdict from Strasbourg that we are calling Sejdić-Finci verdict. So Bosnia and Herzegovina need to change constitution in that respect the human rights issues. So this is the only requirements that we officially had at this moment from the European Union to work and to find the way how to change that in our constitution, and we are calling this Sejdić-Finci verdict. For the NATO, still we didn't find any obstacles that our constitution, that is, who is reading from outside the Dayton Constitution, Dayton Agreement of Bosnia and Herzegovina, that is actually our constitution, could look complicated, but still, if we are, working and really trying to do technical things that is necessary at the moment to do now, our constitution, even very peculiar constitution, it's not an obstacle, only this part, what I said at the beginning, Sejdić-Finci verdict.
What advantages do you see emanating for both parties if Bosnia-Herzegovina ascends to NATO membership?
Well, it's very important, first of all, for Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also it's very important for that Western Balkan region, that Bosnia and Herzegovina one day also should be the full member of the NATO. It's important because that is going to be finally that region, that part of Europe is stabilized. So I should remind, the 2014 is going to be 100 years of starting the First World War. So this is not achievable that in 2 years we will be able finally to put the full stop in the Western Balkan region to be destabilized, but it's very, very obvious that we are going towards this. So the number one is to finally stabilize the region after what we all passed through. At the same time, we don't have in Bosnia and Herzegovina and other countries on the Western Balkan, like Montenegro, Macedonia, we don't have other choice, having in mind that Croatia, our biggest neighbor of Bosnia and Herzegovina, we have 1,000 kilometers of border with Croatia. Croatia is a full member of European Union. We have down there Albania, that is also a full member of the NATO and EU. Croatia is also the full member of the NATO. All down there we have Greece, that is full member of the NATO and EU. Then in the east we have Bulgaria and Romania and Hungary, Slovenia. They're all full member of the NATO and EU. Now, so that means that we are talking about, let's say 12 millions, 13 millions of the citizens of the Western Balkan that is still somewhere, but the process has not been finished. The second thing why NATO is good for Bosnia and Herzegovina, unfortunately, we are not happy in Bosnia and Herzegovina that we passed through that experience being in the war, but our citizens, they really know how to appreciate peace, and why it's important also we don't need NATO as our internal security, because as I said, we are secure our borders, but going through what we went, we are ready to share to everyone for the sake of the global peace how it's important to be in peace. So we are ready to contribute also in our capacities. We are not big as your country is big, we are not rich as your country is rich, but with our capacity and with our budget we are ready to contribute also to the rest of the world. The NATO is the alliance far now with the longest history, the alliance that is enlarging. So we see our chance as being a small country, small size, small numbers of citizens to be the part of such political military alliance through which we can give our contribution to the rest of the world. Also, the NATO is good for Bosnia and Herzegovina, and because of the economy reasons, being or going to be closer to the NATO and maybe one day to be the full member of the NATO, our market is also much wider, but also will contribute to stabilize the region. As you know, economy is also very, very important, and we know that geographically we are interested, and we are not so much interested for the NATO as the NATO that is already present in Bosnia and Herzegovina, being the part of the peace process after the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also having a property from the old Yugoslavia time, military property in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we can be a good base for different kinds of the training for some other later on aspirants or the NATO countries or whatever kind that could happen in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Are there any other issues you would wish to highlight regarding NATO expansion?
You mean regarding just the mine region?
Within the Balkans.
On the Balkans. The extension of the NATO?
The extension of NATO, yes.
Well, I think that, I highlighted some of the very important issues that is out for the Balkan, but, as I said, I would also, somehow to repeat at the end, the NATO process, certain old Balkan, it's really going to be the full stop, for 100 years that they are going not only through the Balkan, but that they are going through the Europe. And the NATO, like a political military alliance, it's very important for us and finish also with the Balkans. So as I said, for the last 100 years, the whole Europe were in two wars, very bloody wars, especially the Second World War, when millions, 22 millions of citizens, they lost their life all around the world. And beyond the Balkan, we thought that this is the end, but unfortunately, we are witnessing that 45 years after the finishing the Second World War, the Balkan countries faced again with the horrible war that happened down there on the Balkans. So the NATO would put the full stop on that period of not only Europe but also of the Balkan. And geographically, Balkan belonged to the Europe, and that line between Balkan, old European countries, new European countries also should be behind us one day.
Perfect. Thank you for being my guest today.
Yeah, thank you very much. My pleasure.
Check out our website at www.atlantic-council.ca for more interviews, articles, and upcoming events. Thank you for joining us.